Hello everyone, welcome back to another match that we're having for MALT in the first round, I would say, of the bracket stage. So we've got a pretty interesting one coming up here. We'll see shortly. I am Potassium F casting with Siluesca Els. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. A little bit sad because our previous match had the default result, but I really do hope that the match happens right now. And I believe the match we'll be having is going to be. Wait, what's the match again? This.
This is going to be Kosu versus poketoine. How do you? It's French, right? Poketoine.
Yep. All right. I have a
I
question.
don't
I have
know,
a
something
question.
like
To open the stream up, I want to ask, what do you call poketoine when they're Korean or something like that?
Wait, how does Korean sound like again?
Oh, you know what? The answer is poketoine.
Oh my god. Oh, it was a pun. Oh no. How
Anyway.
have you done this?
Anyway, can't wait to see what the match is going to be like. I believe these two players have 7K experience. I mean, obviously, they've got to be here in this tournament for a reason. Though, let's look at the qualifier statistics real quick, alright?
Okay. Give me a second here, because before this tournament started, maybe even after qualifiers, you would say that Kosu definitely, one of the highest ranked players of the whole tournament. Basically ranked 1000 on the dot. Very strong, obviously, as physicality wise. And poketoine is one of the players that got an upset last week. So was seed number 45. Got an upset win over, I believe, Valuation. And so managed to qualify. So a big gap in the seeding. But, hear me out here. Stage 1 score between these two players
Alright.
very close.
See, here's the reason why poketoine advanced. It was actually a win by default on their end. So we don't really have statistics on them for the playoffs round. Though
we have a little bit, because that match, it was a win by default, but I believe it was like 3 or 4 maps they played before it was a win by default. So Evaluation had to, yeah. So it was, I believe poketoine was winning the match at the time of the win by default, but because it was a pretty close one, but because of what ended up happening, ended up being marked as a 4-0, as win by defaults do. But actually, hang on, we've missed the rolls and the picks. Unfortunately, we're going right into it. Apparently, I am interested to see who picked this one. I would imagine poketoine picking this, because just basing off the stage 1 alone, it looks like poketoine has very strong rice accuracy overall. We can see that actually right out the gates here. A little bit of a better start for poketoine.
Yeah, poketoine does have the good start, but it doesn't matter how you start. What really matters more is how you do the done deal, how you finish it, really. And right now, looks like poketoine has shown a very good set of 7K fundamentals. But this would really beg the question, do they have the stamina to keep this up? We'll find soon, because Kosu is catching up bit by bit.
Yeah, that's a fairly common trend you can see as well, especially from some of the 4K players that are transitioning to 7K. The mental stamina, the focus really does run out fairly easily, especially if you're not used to reading all 7 columns. And it looks like actually that's a 100 it looked like from poketoine now, dropping down to 99.48, and Kosu now in the lead solidly.
Yeah, I mean, it's partly because of poketoine dropping a few 200s. I didn't catch if they dropped a single 100 or something like that, but that certainly could contribute, as I believe poketoine. As I was about to say, they had a miss. Oh, sorry, I went 200. Instead, a miss happens, which is a lot worse.
Yeah, and that might just seal the map result right now, because even if Kosu misses right now, it's at the very end of the map in the outro, it's not going to matter as much, and a second miss comes out of poketoine. That is going to decide the point here. Kosu managing to pick up point number 1 in the match, and going to be interesting to see who picked that, because I feel like, oh my, look at the ratio there. Actually, it may very well have been poketoines with that ratio.
Yeah, the thing is though, if poketoine FC this would have not been their point either way. Okay, so that was a break point for Kosu, actually.
Okay. So I feel like in this case, I don't know what the bans are quite yet, but LN1 is being picked up. So the Be My Guest being, a bit more of the. Oh, we're seeing the bans were Terrasphere from Quosu and Penguin from Poketoine. So actually two of the more difficult picks of the pool, I would say.
I agree. And now we're going to the long note side. See, here's something I've noticed with the lower seeded players, or teams even in MWC. If you think about it, those on the lower seeded part tend to be less well-rounded than their higher seed counterparts. I mean, it's proven here. Koso is seed 6 and 7 on LN1 and LN2 in the qualifiers, respectively, while Pokemon is seed 51 on LN1 and LN2. So I can see why this is a good pick in general.
And especially now, compared to last week, especially this map in particular has a lot of, funny kind of release patterns. They're not too bad, but at the same time, if you're not really comfortable with timing your LN releases really well, coordinating your fingers, this is very easy to miss on, very hard to really nail.
Yeah, it is very difficult to nail, especially if you're not focused enough. And right now, both players are well on their way to still have the consistency that's needed. But once again, the question of stamina and mental fortitude really begs the question.
Here comes the hard releases right here, starting a little bit. Both players doing them fairly fine so far, with still 2 full combos.
Two full combos, but it's only a third of the map that's been played. And we know how much this could swing back over the poketoine if Kosu is not careful.
Yeah, a lot of 200s in this section now for poketoine. That down to 99 flat. 99.7 still being held by Kosu as we're getting into this little bit more dense section. Very easy to drop accuracy here if you're not careful. And actually, Kosu does drop a little bit, but only down to 99.6, so still safely in the lead for now, as long as the combo is hold.
Oh man, it's actually getting further because poketoine has dropped to below the 99 range, though. Very good job on them for getting back onto there. However, Kosu's lead has been very consistent here.
Oh,
and as I say that,
density not working out very well for poketoine. That's going to be a big drop, and that is basically going to decide it here. Not too much left. There's a little bit of a one last release section, but it's not quite as bad as the previous ones, and so far Kosu's just looks so comfortable with this map.
Yeah, there's like barely any time, and I doubt even if Kosu misses now, there should be not enough time to do this. And there we go. Well, Kosu takes another point, but the ratio was certainly very close between these two players.
Yeah, the 200 count. Oh my god, 4 200s from Kosu is really impressive on a map like that. And that is going to be a solid second pick, or second win, I should say, for Kosu in the map count. poketoine gets their own pick back, and they really want to be getting on the board now, of course. So Rice, 2 Rice picks left. I would say maybe the Bokurano Tabi might be a good pick if you're looking at, pure ratio.
What?
Or Coma, actually.
Wait a second.
That's not too bad, actually. I think that's a pretty reasonable pick, honestly, all things considered. If you look at some of the Rice ratio, I feel like there definitely is a chance as far as the Rice ratio goes for poketoine. And although this is a hybrid pick, there are not really many LN patterns that I think are too absurdly difficult. Maybe we see a couple 200s being dropped, but I feel like if poketoine can keep up, maybe not get tricked out by any of the choke points that this map does have, a few little weird trills in there, then the act could definitely be competitive in this one. We'll have to see.
Yeah, accuracy certainly does play a big factor here, but I think poketoine has to secure consistency first. Like, I see the ratio is really close with Kosu, and not to mention on the first pick it was actually better. But the consistency factor on poketoine's side has really been an X factor as to why Kosu has been getting those picks. Because Kosu does not miss at all.
And off to a little bit of a rough start, few 200s it looked like for poketoine at the very start, but the accuracy is rising pretty quickly. Already up to, oh actually, never mind, dropping another 200 there, but Kosu drops a little bit as well.
Yeah, those 200 drops actually makes poketoine a little bit closer now. This is only a 0.16 difference. And this is the part that I think poketoine could really gain on, like that rise part. But wait a second, poketoine drops a little bit more. Not gonna lie, those transitions to your like middle and index and ring finger, especially to the ring finger, could really be challenging for some players. And this is the part where I think Kosu could really take advantage of.
Oh yeah, these LNs. poketoine hitting them well, but struggling to time them, it looks like. Dropping down to 99.1. And this accuracy lead now just grows as Kosu manages to act that just fine.
Yeah, and it is getting a little bit more to Kosu's side as poketoine continues to drop 200s, but that consistency that poketoine has been keeping is very important.
Oh,
I may say that. Never mind that.
Oh, and it's the very last pattern before this little bit of a break section as well. It always kind of hurts. Gonna have to stew on that thought during the break section, but now this is a big advantage, 20,000 points in the lead for Kosu, and this is a very long map as well, so even without the miss, this accuracy difference is just so hard to be able to come back from in a long map.
Yeah, and 25,000, like what you mentioned, is really big on a 4-minute map. Because like, you think about 4 minutes, is for stuff like this, if you make a mistake, there's a lot of opportunities to go back to the 400 combo count. And clearly, if your opponent is very consistent, then it's going to be really difficult to get the lead back.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, even though there is a third of the map remaining, there's not really any difficulty spikes of this map, I would say. Maybe there's like some individual, like, kind of wacky patterns, but basically the story is, if Kosu is looking this comfortable so far, you know, maintaining the consistent accuracy throughout the map, it's hard to really imagine there being any big chokes for the rest of the map. Oh, that's a rough one as well from poketoine, finding another miss.
Yeah, poketoine finding those misses has been detrimental. Although, not to mention, we gotta give a props to Kosu as well for being incredibly consistent. This is exactly what they have to do in order to secure their next point. But there is still some time. However, I don't think there's enough objects for any comeback to happen right now.
Well, there is one miss, but it's just a little bit too late.
What? Man, I've been killing it today. Holy cow. Yeah.
On point with the curses. But unfortunately for poketoine, not quite enough to close. Okay, well there's another one. That's the surf tube miss from the replay.
Oh my goodness. Well, you know, I don't think it should matter really, because like Kosu's score is still ridiculously good.
Yeah, 976k, even with a full combo from poketoine, the accuracy is not enough to be able to reach that kind of score. So it is going to be a quick 3-0 lead for Kosu. Match point already. This is a first to 4.
Yes, it's first to four.
Percy skin on the outro.
Well, everyone, this is exactly why you do not use Percy, okay? Just kidding. I don't mind if you use Percy.
That's funny though. That is very funny. It didn't end up deciding the match, but yeah, got to be careful about some of those pans. Maybe I guess if you use Percy, you just have to kind of memorize in a way the how long that LN goes on for. Kosu asking whether Rise 3 has been picked, and yes, it has. It was played first. So maybe Kosu going for a Rise pick, but I would say, you know, LN2 is still up. That is a very strong pick, you would have to imagine.
I would think, yeah, it could be a strong pick. Although, like, the only sensible picks here are... Wait.
I don't know about this one, though. I feel like, out of all the picks remaining, this is probably the easiest one to FC.
I disagree. I thought poketoine would pick this, because, like...
Yeah.
Here's the problem here. Here's the problem with this pick, in my opinion. I think Rice 1 was the better option out of the two Rices. And not to mention, this is 1 minute and 58 seconds. So if we see a miss from Kosu, like what we saw on the ending of Akoma, that would really affect the lead by so much more.
Yeah, and Rice 1 as well, as you say that, is much more, like, fast. Has a lot higher of, I would say, like, a speed requirement that you need to be able to play it comfortably. So, you know, that could play into, you know, Kosu's higher ceiling, higher late game skill level might fit them a little bit better. But in this case, well, we'll have to see. As you said, it's a short map, and also I do think this one has not too high of a physicality requirement, maybe a little bit of a difficult kind of end section with some of the speed bursts, but nothing too insane, I would think. So we'll have to see how the two players go on it. So far, it looks like Kosu in a little bit of a lead early on. But, oh, a 50, actually.
Oh, that was close. And right now, the lead's actually very close. This is exactly why I didn't want Kosu to pick this. And this is the part where I think poketoine could really use ratio to their advantage.
Yeah, oh my god, look at these acts. They're dead even, just about. 0.01 is the lead from accuracy for Kosu.
And
but
now
actually...
shifted to poketoine.
Yeah, Kosu not over early yet. Overall, it looks like.
Not over yet between... It's not over yet for poketoine. In fact, the ratio... Oh, wait a second. poketoine drops 200 on these. I think the 200s have been coming from those... maybe ring members? I did not pay attention to that. But it looks like both play... Like, I think poketoine in general really just has to work on the fundamentals for the outer fingers on 7K, really.
Yeah, that's always one of the big challenges for starting some of these, you know, while you're still getting used to it. But here we go, this is a bit more of the bursty section. This one has big potential for 200s if you're not careful. It looks like Kosu just in a little bit of lead overall.
Oh my god. It's only 2,000! Anything can still happen! Now we're reaching some chords! It's still not safe in my opinion! Oh! 1,500 points! That was
just
so...
barely.
Oh!
Once again, the ratio is actually so good for poketoine. Just the 200s, not managing to avoid them.
Oh my goodness. I have to say this, like, if that 50 from Kosu turned into a miss, this certainly would have been poketoine's point.
Absolutely, yeah.
Still a good fight from poketoine, but ultimately only one winner could be declared here, and that is going to be Kosu. Congratulations to them for advancing to the next round on the winner's bracket. And as for poketoine, still an amazing fight. The loser's bracket is still there, so do not worry, as you get another chance there.
Yeah, and if I am correct with looking at, you know, seedings, I don't have the bracket open exactly, but I believe Kosu will be versing the winner of me versus Rhymes with Nash.
Oh, good luck to that. And
Poketoine will be.
You.
Yeah, Poketoine will be versing the loser of me versus Rhymes with Mash, if my knowledge on how double elimination brackets work is correct.
That's true, but anyways, for the meantime, stay tuned for the match between, I believe this is Nene
Sakura and Shiki. Wait, hang on.
Shigetashi.
Shigetashi, okay. I was trying to remember the name. But yeah, Nene Sakura, I believe, should be the other player. So that's going to be an interesting one as well. I know Shigetashi had some very strong scores overall in the playoffs last week. So could be very interesting. Make sure you stay tuned for that. So 40 minutes, and we'll see you later.